Welcome to this case study. My guest today is Gemma Dustin. Gemma is an absolutely beautiful therapist from Cairns. She has a nursing background, nursed for a long time, kind of slowly transitioned and progressed into remedial massage and different kind of hands-on modalities. She's now an Emmett practitioner and also Emmett trainer. When she first started working with us, she had a team that was it had kind of not gone to plan. And so she was able to create the right environment, set a really intentional workplace that she wanted to have, and start to really create systems and structure and confidence to actually lead her team. Gemma is just absolutely fantastic, has been doing a fantastic job on social media, has consistently stepped up in her growth and in her learning. And I know that this interview is going to be really powerful for anyone who's looking at hiring or perhaps might be doing a different modality to what, not just remedial massage, might have something else that you want to bring in or you're not quite sure how to do it. Gemma's story is that she's been able to make a really successful business based on bringing the two modalities of remedial massage and Emmett practitioner training into her clinic and get herself and her staff fully booked. Welcome, Gemma, to this case study. It's great to be able to connect with you today.
Thanks, Alicia. Great to connect with you too.
I would love to hear a little bit about your journey. What kind of things do you practice and how long have you been treating for?
Oh, so my journey starts way back many years ago. My background has been nursing, and so I have always done a lot of work with the body, but in such a different way. In 2009, my husband and I moved to Cairns away from Sydney. We just wanted a huge lifestyle change. We decided to move here to Cairns, and we were very fortunate with nursing that we could just pick up work wherever we went. So my husband is also a nurse. And when I first started with working here in Cairns, I wanted just to do something different as a hobby. So I still wanted to do work with the body, and then I decided to end up enrolling in doing a massage course. Always have loved experiencing massages, and I just thought this is something just interesting and see how this goes. I ended up enrolling with it and followed through, attained my diploma, and I was just doing some work with friends, with other colleagues, like from that I had worked with, and just do word of mouth. They would just come home and I'd just do it I was excited if I got 2 clients in 1 week. I was just thrilled. So I ended up just progressing along with it. And then I came across a technique called Emmett. I'd heard quite a lot about this technique. I was very skeptical about it because of my nursing background. And with that nursing background, we had to show proof in the pudding. You had to prove things would work. But it kept coming up, and I just thought there must be something in with this therapy. And I'm very interested to go and do a course just to see what it's about. The very first day and in the first morning, I was just blown away with seeing the results that I could work on in doing an hour's massage. I could see that they could achieve these results in less than 5 minutes. And that just blew me away. I'm just like, how is that possible? And I kept questioning my instructor. How is that possible? How is it possible that this can be so quick? The instructor was amazing, was very open and welcoming to helping me acknowledge all this stuff. And I just thought, I'm going to come and do the second course. And then I followed on into doing all the other courses with it. And it just was a real life journey for me in changing my profession. I've now left nursing, and I had moved out in renting out a room and working with nursing part-time initially, and then working towards just stepping away from that nursing career and focusing with doing body therapy work. So we do remedial massage and also Emmett technique. Both can be done as a standalone treatment, or they work so well together. Really, really well together. So I now have opened up my own business in a clinic here in Cairns, and now have got 2 other amazing therapists that work with me. And we're running a busy little clinic here, and we've also got a receptionist that works here with us as well.
Amazing. That's amazing. So what I'm kind of there's a few things I'm curious around. First of all, let's talk about where were you in your business cycle and business life before you decided to look for coaching?
Oh, good question. With myself, when I set up with my business and before doing the coaching, I was pretty much the main earner for the business. So it was all about me. The clients wanted to come and see me. I had another therapist come and join me for 10 hours a week, but no other clients really wanted to go and see her because they had the drive. They wanted to come and see myself. I had become pregnant and was knowing I was going to have some time off and needed other people to step in and help out. I asked two other great therapists to come and help out with me, and I knew that they would be able to follow on doing the Emmett technique and massage. And when I went on maternity leave, the business just took a complete step backwards. It was a real crumble. So I came back early from my maternity leave to help try and sort things out. And the one thing I had certainly felt like during that time, I thought, I just need help here. I can't struggle doing work with the baby, and I need to bring on board with the other therapists. How do I move on from this point? It was a real low level for me. So that's when I actually saw an advert that you had online. And I thought, I'm going to just jump on and have a look at this free seminar that you were doing. And it just was what I was after. So you were talking about how you can build up a team. And that's the next step that I was after. I wanted to help build a team, be able to help my clinic run smoothly, and be able to then follow on and be able to look after my little boy at the same time as well. Yeah.
And it's such a kind of painful story when we had this idea of great, I'll be able to step out, and whether it's have babies, or for me, I moved to the snow and did a season at the ski fields. Not quite as exciting and life-changing, obviously, as having a baby. However, it's that stepping back into your business, which is kind of like your first kid, I reckon, because that's what it feels like. And stepping back in and going, what the heck has happened here?
Yeah.
And there can be that sense of kind of almost apprehension of, I don't want to do that again, but
Yes.
time says that I need, if I want to grow my business, I'm going to have to. But there's that sense of, well, if that didn't work, was it the fact that I had team that didn't work, or was it that I didn't set it up appropriately beforehand? That probably is the factor to why it didn't work. Which is,
and that's right. And that's one thing I have really learned from joining your courses, that it was the option. I did not set it up properly. I thought anyone could step in and do the same role, but with what you guys have shared with us, it really was that deep level and that connection that you have with your staff, that they have that recognition of the same values that you do, and that's what the clients resonate with. So biggest learning curve I learned about myself, and I learned so much about myself with doing your course and the whole program, just like, wow, I didn't know that about myself. I didn't know that either. And then to acknowledge the people really come in to see you as a therapist. And then, yes, the bonus is what the therapy that you do with them, but it's you as an individual they really love to come see as well. So that's lovely.
Yeah. Look, something else that I think is really important to point out is that, yes, you do remedial massage. However, I'm really curious to know, how have you learned how to market Emmett so that's you can do 50-50? Because it's like, often when you say, oh, hey, come in and have a massage, people go, oh, yes, please. Whereas if you're like, hey, come in and have Emmett, it's like, what? Like, I've not heard of that before. And we often speak to therapists who have got very different qualifications or different experience. So I'd love to know, what were some of the things that you've done to be able to attract a need and a want for people to come and actually want to have Emmett therapy?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because it is something new, and a lot of people go, no, never heard of it, don't know. And a lot of people, oh, it's wishy-washy, or it's voodoo or woo-woo stuff. This is not going to be anything that's going to really help me. I want to have this real deep massage to help get the benefits with it. So a lot of it came down to talking, educating clients. One of the biggest key factors that we did was we did a lot of fundraising for an event up here in Cairns, and it was for the hospital foundation. And we volunteered our time over a 3-day bike ride. And it was from Cairns to Cooktown. Myself and there was another couple of therapists that came on board. So we took all our business cards, we had our massage table out, and people would come over thinking they were coming for a massage. And that's where we started to introduce these bike riders to Emmett. And at the end of the 3 days, we had people lining up, waiting to have this treatment. And it worked so well for such a physically active session, because a lot of these people, they would be so sore to get back onto the bike on day 2 and day 3. And then a lot of feedback would come from the other cyclists that had had treatment saying, just go and try this Emmett stuff because it works. So that was a real big way that we were able to start building up with clientele. And then it became word of mouth. And then I think with what I've learned through with your program is the marketing side of things. That was not my forte. I will put my hand up first and forward, just say marketing, I am terrible at. So to come on board and go, okay, how can I communicate this across to show people what this does? So it's really breaking down those steps to be able to show and put the word out there. And we use just descriptive words to say that we can isolate muscles and release a targeted muscle to help get relief. We did a post just last week on shoulder immobility. I didn't title it frozen shoulder or having had, we just said that the person just had pain and discomfort, but they didn't have, like they couldn't have the mobility with it either. So we explained that we can help come and isolate the muscle, release those targeted areas, and the results we got so many bookings from this one post that we had boosted with it. So that's how we've really been able to progress in putting the word out there with them.
Yeah. And I think you make a great point in that being able to give people an experience of what you do. So they go, oh, that's what Emmett is.
Yes.
It is very gentle. It's very non-invasive. And it is a matter of educating clients why they don't need deep elbow work. As for myself, as we've discussed, I'm a Bowen therapist in craniosacral therapy. And I remember going from a very deep tissue sports elbow-based treatment style to the question, can you do this with any less pressure? And having to kind of shake my head and shake my hands off to go, what do you mean I can't use an elbow? Well, you can't. The craniosacral system is enormously delicate. Like, okay, all right. Can I do this at any less pressure? 5 grams of pressure, what you put on your elbow, on your eyelids. Okay, right. And it is such a mindset shift for me to then be able to go into the marketplace and go, hey, everyone, less of this, more of this, or with Emmett, it's using the finger, that it's like, wow, that's really different. Something we forget is that we actually have to educate our clients and our community and be okay with that. We can't just assume that they know that.
That's exactly right. And even just right down to the basics with it. And I always say to people when they come in, I'll say, you may never have heard of this therapy before, but I promise you, you never forget your first treatment.
Oh, nice.
And that's always a key word that targets. And it's very true. A lot of times, and people say, I always remember this being done, and how a lot of people, they've found that this has been very life-changing for them. Yeah.
Nice.
Very life-changing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. So what are some of the mindset shifts that you've had? You said that you've learned a lot about yourself. Can you maybe share a little, or break that down a little bit, share a bit about what that has looked like for you?
Real eye-opener for me. So when you say learning a lot about yourself, I am very task-driven, and I've always been like ticking the box with a lot of things, and just thinking, yes, you can run a business with doing that as well, and with body therapy. And I think it was a very humbling effect just to take a step back with what I'd learnt about myself, and recognizing the fact that people want to come and see me. And to acknowledge that fact. Oh, they actually really like me. Oh my God. My background has been ICU nursing. A lot of people did not like to come and see me in the past. So I got so driven in that tunnel focus that things had to be done medically. So to have that different approach, more relaxed, and people wanting to come and see me for me, was a very humbling approach with it. It sounds so simple and it feels kind of silly in saying it, but it was just, that was one of the biggest profound things for it. And lives on the phone. And I'm like, people actually want to see what I do in my own living room, really? They want to see me. The biggest like I got when I did my 30 days live challenge was when I had a terrible day. The house was a mess. I had the dogs in the house because it was raining outside. My little boy was just racing around, and people loved it because it was real. And they're like, thank you so much for sharing it. I'm just like, oh, it was a crazy day, but it certainly taught me to be more relaxed and to just go with the flow, that 80-20 rule you talk about, and just going, just start something and give it a try. Don't make sure it's just not perfect before you start it, because then that can just put you off and take forever. That used to be me. Now I'm just like, okay, I'm going to start this. I'll pop this up and see how it goes. And well, the job's done before you know it. So to take that perfectionism cap off and then just give it a try, it's amazing where you can end up.
Yeah. And it's so powerful when we step into our heart like that and we
Yeah.
allow ourselves to be seen. Because to
Yes.
be fair, everyone has always wanted to see you. It was more just the awareness to go, and not just it's okay, but also I'm allowed to have my heart seen.
Yeah.
Because often when in our experience will lend us to not being allowed, not giving ourselves permission to be seen. And whether that's the way we've grown up, whether that's the industries we've come from, where that lens was not allowed, giving ourselves permission to go, it's okay to be seen. And I love what that does, because I think it actually allows others permission, just like doing a Facebook Live in a dirty, messy lounge room with probably no makeup and just chaos everywhere. And I agree, the most engaged lives I've ever had are never the sitting in front of my computer with my lovely makeup done. It's always the yesterday's makeup probably streaming down my face after a run when I'm super ugly and sweaty, or the kids are in the background trying to do high five selfies and, bunny ears and all sorts of craziness. They're the things that people love because they're real. And it's,
Yes.
hi, how you doing? There's really going on here. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think when people see that you break down that little level yourself, they're like, oh, finally, I can just relax and be myself too.
Yeah.
So to demonstrate that and be, I suppose, that leader for them to recognize that, the outcome of your treatment results can be so profound.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want our clients to relax on the table, and it starts with them walking through that front door, meeting you for the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And us being able to let our stuff down so that they can then let theirs down and model that. That's so beautiful.
Definitely.
Gemma, when it comes to rehiring, so now you've got two beautiful values match staff members. What was it like for you to kind of have to go through that probably, the undie tightening moment we talk about to go, no, I need to hire again, even though it hasn't gone so well. What was that experience like for you? And then what did you actually do?
The experience was awful to start off with. I was like, oh, and felt sick at the stomach and tightening undie moment, you say. And it was just a dread. I'm like, I don't want to go through this again. But the reassurance that I felt and support from both you and James and the team was just, and going through that right way and motion of doing it. And I had so many people apply. We had quite a lot of applicants. Cairns is only a city of about 150,000 people. So I got close to 10 applicants for it for the one position, which surprised me. I thought initially I'd only get like maybe one or two. In the past, I got nothing. But with using the right words, putting the emotion out there of having the right person come to me, I got quite a lot of applicants with it. So we worked through the motions with it, and there was one beautiful person that just shone with it and just was so motivated, and she just was prepared to help adapt and do anything that she could because she wanted to come on board. She said, I know this place has been for me. What sold it was, she said, I have been watching you on Facebook for the last 3 years, hoping and praying that you would have a position come available that I knew would be for me. And I just thought, wow, so you've been watching. So I just thought, we would love to offer you a position. Yeah.
And that's the power of learning how to open up our heart, is that then feeds through our social media and people are watching. So that when it's like, actually, I've got this opportunity, someone goes, yes, please, actually, I've been praying for that. Like, as if that is not a beautiful values match and just, by design, the way that it's actually meant to be. That's just so beautiful. So how have you found marketing those new team members? Has it been an easy process, or have you found it, like, what have you kind of put in place for them to get them?
It's been easier this time in comparison to 12 months ago when I brought on my other new therapist. And this therapist has had quite a lot of more experience with remedial massage as well. So having had learnt what I'd learnt in the last 12 months, and especially with you guys too, and trying to market the previous employer, we had a better system in place. And I had downloaded a fantastic tool that you guys had as well to look at how to take those steps and demonstrating what you should do each day to help try and promote this therapist. So we interviewed her. We got her to talk about her own personal experience, her life story, what made her want to do massage. We also did some flyers for her as well. So people would have a treatment with her, but the second visit would be 50% like off. So they would then realize, okay, after 2 treatments, how amazing they would actually feel with her too. We would contact people and just introduce our therapist to our staff, to our clients. So she would be at the front desk. She'd be starting to meet everyone. And then we would do a lot of boosts on Facebook as well to really try and push so people could see there's a new face that's come there with her. Would have photos of her by herself, photos with her with myself doing a treatment on me, photos of us as a team. So people could then recognise there is a new addition that's come on board. So it's been ongoing. She has a beautiful specialty in manual lymphatic drainage. So we've really utilised her strength and just done that as a really big promo as well. Yeah, and that has taken off quite nicely. A lot of people have been very interested in doing the manual lymphatic drainage. Yeah.
And like, I think to have that, like we call it the first 4 weeks of onboarding.
Yeah.
So what do you do? And we literally break it down to every day, and there's training to kind of back that up. And it does just take the guesswork out of it, rather than going, how the heck am I going to promote this person? And I just thought, build it and they will come. If I get someone, people will see them. And often they won't, because it's new and it's changed and it's different. But when you can build trust with this person's regularly around, so their face looks familiar, you see them on social media, it's like, oh, okay. Which is why we call it Facebook, not logo book, because it is about building your face. And it's using the philosophy that we will trust a face that we recognize. So politicians, we've got an election campaign at the moment. There's politicians everywhere. You see their faces, because the more you see of that face, the more likely you are to vote for them. Which is why we utilize that same, and it's kind of how we're hardwired. If you think back to tribal days, we had to remember each other's faces. It was kind of important. And it does work really well when it comes to promoting our clients, promoting our staff, because then they become familiar with who those people are in your clinic, and it's less intimidating to see someone else.
Definitely. Yeah. No, she's been a great pick.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit about your confidence as a leader. How have you found the transition into being a therapist who, as you said, like to do a bit of perfectionism, and having to remove that hat to go trusting other people now? How have you found that process?
Initially, awful. Again, that perfectionism was really hard to just let go to someone else. But choosing those right people that just helped reassure that confidence with it. It's a big thing with communication. So trying to find tools that we can all have this way and we'll all be on the same wavelength. The fact that now there's 4 of us in the one team, to make sure that the communication point is brought across to everyone and everyone is able to comprehend that. That's been the biggest thing that I believe that needs to come across. So a lot of people will say to me, oh, so this person works for you. I will say, no, they work with me. I like the idea of working as a team. We are all equal. I do like the idea to lead and help make decisions, but I also encourage that feedback and suggestions from the rest of my team. It's very important that they all contribute with it as well. So the transition, it was challenging, but I like to make sure that we all keep it on the same wavelength and that we are all recognised and contributing together.
Yeah. And I think it's a beautiful way to lead, because we're leading it around, yes, you are the head of the business is yours. It's your risk that you're taking on board by having the lease and all that kind of stuff. So, and as you said, that stops with you. However, we work together as a team, and all together we actually journey on this business journey together.
Definitely.
And that you're right, that requires you understanding what your values are and what your mission is and why you guys exist, and then having the ability to articulate that in a way that kind of lands into their listening, so they can actually hear what you're saying. Because often, we'll say, oh, blah, blah, blah. But if someone doesn't get it or doesn't understand or doesn't make sense of it, then there's no point of us communicating it. So
Yes.
learning tools to be able to change our language in order to be able to communicate in a way that they can hear it in their way and then outwork that through the clinic is what makes a profound business. And that's what we call like a values-based business, because it's not just these are the values of the business, now everyone do them. It's more like, great, so how can we as a team display these values in everyday living every time we come to the clinic?
Definitely. And another big step I found with the leadership role, I had to recognize making time to do that leadership role outside of the clinic hours too. So, or I should say, included in with the clinic hours, I had to look at cutting back, an hour here, an hour there, maybe seeing one client, less client here, one less client there, looking at the transition and trying to get clients to see my other therapists. But it's so important to take that step back and to still have to overlook everything, make sure that all the team are happy, they're functioning properly, they're able to be well trained with what it is that they're doing. And then that's where things start to have that better transition too. That was a big challenge for me because I was always so used to seeing clients. And then I'm like, well, hang on a minute here. I'm going to have to make sure that everyone else is still okay as well.
Yeah.
So to take that step back and take that time off to allocate it towards the other staff, that's where that was the challenge. Yeah. But now adaptable, it works well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so when we look at the program itself, you've attended a number of our retreats online.
I have, yes.
What's been your experience of that?
My experience, I have enjoyed every single one of them. So Zoom to me was really rare, wasn't it, before COVID had hit? So I joined up with you guys just after the initial outbreak with COVID and coming on and doing the Zooms online with you. And we were, obviously, the borders being closed. We couldn't go unfortunately, to the conferences. So the ability to be able to jump online and be a part of it, I did not feel left out at all. It worked out so well. It would just be fantastic. My house would be cleared. I could just come in, sit down in front of the computer and still feel that I was a part of the conference itself. Other sessions I've been to when doing things online, you kind of get pushed to the side a little bit. With you guys, we just had such great support. Very, very supportive. There's always, again, a lot of self-learning that your courses do and your conferences do as well. And also just like looking at how to run the business, the marketing, mechanics that are going to help with your business a little bit better as well. I always enjoy the presenters that you guys bring on board, the guest speakers, and get so much more from that too. Yeah. So I really look forward to them every quarter. I really look forward to them.
Yeah. And you're right. It's great to be able to have that flexibility to deliver them online. And it's important to us that people feel connected and not just off to the side. It's like utilize breakout rooms and just try and make them and do our best, considering the size of the company and the logistics that go into it at times can be a little bit challenging. However, the outcome is great, and the fact that you guys feel loved and supported is completely worth all of that. What about things like the monthly planning and base camps and things like that, and maybe the support of the other people in the program?
Oh, definitely. So the base camps, doing the weekly base camps through, I think it's so essential to do that. And I notice a difference if I don't. So it just regrounds you. So like the idea you say, it is the base camp. It just regrounds you, gives you that focus, looking at what your win is for the week, acknowledging, even though it felt like a real crap week, do you know what? There was a benefit from it. So really acknowledging that, then looking at the next step. Okay, I'm working on doing this next step into the progression with it. I enjoy hearing other people's feedback and seeing their journeys. Being with you guys for 2 years now, I've seen some people that probably started at a similar time with me, watching them grow, some battles that they've personally gone through as well and have been strong enough to share. And it's just such a sense of achievement for them. And to see that, you're just really proud of them for going through what they went through and be able to come out of the other side. And they can come into the session and just go, oh my God, guess what? I finally have been able to move on from whatever it was their challenge was that they were going through. And just to see that, but in saying that as well, you can also learn from what a lot of other people share. If there's a challenge they're going through, or if they had been through that challenge, then they can actually go through that again differently as well.
Yeah.
So the monthly meetings, I find that's a good guidance again too, just looking at what your goals are. I find a lot of times mine are very consistently the same goals and wanting to try and achieve with it. But seeing that long-term goal, what I'm wanting to achieve for the end of the year, that monthly meetings is again just looking at your steps. Have I actually been able to achieve it? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Why haven't I? This is where I need to look at doing something different. And to get that feedback on from you guys as coaches, yes, this is where I can move on from. So it's very supportive, very, very supportive. And I look back on it for the last 2 years, I certainly have learnt a lot about myself. I have certainly grown. And I'll share with you, Lesh, I have just joined a BNI chapter, and here in Cairns. 3 years ago, I went to a meeting for a BNI, and I'm like, no way, I'm doing this. This is so out of my comfort zone. And mind you, it was the wrong timing because I was heavily pregnant with my little boy. So there's no way I could commit to it at the same time. What I have found when coming to join this next chapter, I recognized so many things. I thought these guys value the same things as me. That was a big win. It wasn't there just to go in and try and rub shoulders with people to help try and promote your business. These people genuinely wanted to help me. The second thing was they looked at all the different KPIs that you had to set, and it was stuff that we had gone through with our coaching. And I just felt so comfortable to sit in with this BNI, and I thought, I can do this. This I can definitely do. And it's thanks to you guys, because it has helped me set up with it, recognizing what I want to get from my business, what my KPIs I'm wanting to set in my own business as well, and what I value. And to recognize these guys are my match, they are going to help me with doing referral work as well. Yeah. So it's been really, really useful. And that was a big learning curve for me when I went to sit in with the meetings. I'm like, wow, this has been, Massage Champions has really helped me a lot. Yeah.
To get that.
A real pivotal moment. Big time.
Nice.
Big time.
And so what, if someone was listening to this and was thinking of joining the program, what would you say?
Do it. Do it without hesitation. Just do it. It's the best thing you can learn from that 12 months. And what you put into it is what you will get out of it. It is crazy at the beginning because it is like that spaghetti strand you talk about, and it all goes in nice and simply, but it all gets intertangled and you're just like, but it teaches you how to be organized, how to structure your planning so things can be achieved. And I really liked what you guys have shared, that we underestimate what we can achieve in 12 months, and yet we overestimate what we want to do in just a week's time frame. But to break that down, it's very valuable. And I have really gotten a lot from that.
Yeah. Gemma, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing with us your journey. It has been an honor to see you thrive as beautifully as you have, and to see your whole team now thriving together, fully booked, consistently, and how and why. And that is just so incredible. So massive kudos and well done to you. Thank you for implementing all the things that you've learned. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Alicia, very much.
I trust that what you've heard has really, resonated with you to be able to go, wow, maybe you might be in a similar position. And hopefully by hearing Gemma's story and seeing what she has put into place, seeing the changes that she's made, seeing the difference that it's made, then you too might be able to really transform your business, to run it with ease, and to really create that rocking business and that success that you really desire. And if that's you and you don't have an appointment with us yet, then we would love you to fill in the form below, because we'd love to get in touch and connect with you around how you too could create an incredible business in your area.